You left Los Angeles in June. You never notified the defendant that you were moving. You may have discussed it with her, but you didn't notify her that you were moving. And according to what I'm hearing, you had no contact with her until you filed this action in mid-July, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in the action that you filed in Los Angeles on July 13th, you asked for weekend visitation commencing immediately, correct?
Correct.
That's what you asked for.
Correct.
And I don't know what you said to the judge at that time, but the judge signed an ex parte order that said this order supersedes the order from Maryland. This is the order from Maryland. And the order from Maryland says that commencing in 2015, you shall be accorded 48-hour visits, which includes an overnight, on 30 days' notice to the other side.
Exactly.
Did you give Ms. Martin 30 days' notice of your intention to exercise weekend visitation after you moved to Texas?
No, ma'am.
So after you moved to Texas in June, you had no contact with her?
Directly, no. Through her father, yes. That's why her father's sitting there.
On what date did you have contact with her father?
Most significant time was June the 8th when I was on the road driving to Texas. We were trying to figure out the situation.
Since June the 8th, did you have any contact with her father?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell me about it.
When I was in California.
When you were in California, on what date?
That weekend, 8/18.
So between June
Yes.
and 8/18, you didn't have contact with her father. You tried to have contact with her father when you came up for the weekend for visitation.
No, ma'am. We spoke on several occasions in regards to.
I want you to tell me
Yes.
when.
Okay. So I spoke with him several weeks throughout July, all the way up until my visitation.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Spoke to him about what?
The visitation of my daughter. And the custody.
Specifically?
Specifically, I wanted to see my daughter. We arranged that we were going to come the first, third. He asked me specifically when. He was very adamant when I'm going to see my daughter. I told him I would come during the custody hearing. That third weekend, 8/19 was the actual hearing date on that Friday. I told him I would be there, which was in alignment with the order that I had. I would be there.
You're talking about the ex parte order that you got for weekends. Not the Maryland order.
Right, there's 3 orders. She had the ex parte, that's why I'm confused.
No.
Had the ex parte, I'm a little confused.
Don't be confused,
Okay.
sir.
I didn't do an ex parte.
Well, you filed your action by yourself. You didn't go
Okay.
to the courthouse together with her.
Right, okay, maybe I'm not understanding what ex parte is
You
in that way.
didn't go to the courthouse
Okay.
together. You filed, in effect, an interim order
Okay.
when they set it down for hearing. But meanwhile, the only order that was in place prior to you getting this order that you got
Yes.
superseding this Maryland order was an order that says you may have 48-hour visitation on 30 days' notice
Yes, ma'am.
to the defendant. I'm not hearing that you gave the defendant 30 days' notice of your intention to exercise visitation the weekend of August 18th. I haven't heard that you gave her 30 days' notice. All I hear is you left where your daughter was living, and she's 4. So there's no communication with the 4-year-old, who, according to you, you used to see Wednesdays and Sundays. And then the next thing she hears from you is that there's now an order in place where you can come and pick up your daughter from school, which is what you did. You went to the school to pick her up, right?
No.
Wait.
Yeah, that part is correct. The first part is not right. There's 2 different things you just mentioned. The second part you mentioned, go to her school, that is correct. The first part, prior to that, I had been in constant communication with her father and letting her know that there was an order in place. And I contacted him when we had the court hearing asking where was his daughter and why was she not there.
Okay, let me tell you this. I'm not granting your application for travel expenses.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you leave the jurisdiction and you have a 4-year-old and you want to have a relationship with that child, you're not moving for custody of that child, but you want to have a relationship with her, which you should, then you don't change what is a primary order. You send a registered letter 30 days before you intend to exercise your visitation, and you send it to the defendant and you say, I'm coming up from Texas on the 18th of August. I'm giving you notice that I would like to exercise my visitation on August 18th. For that 48-hour period, because I now live far away. And if you did that, and she, not her father, not back and forth with her, she had noticed, because she's the mother of your child, you should be in constant communication with her.
She
How
cuts
many
off communication.
How many children do you have?